Okay, now he's gunning it. He's gunning it. Not sure how fast he's going, but he's flying.
What is up, everyone? Abbas here from Golden Motor. We are doing another build video today. We are putting the CyC X1 PRO Generation 2 motor on this bike with the 72 volt 21 amp hour triangle pack on this. So it's gonna give me up to 3,000 watts of power. So this thing's gonna be a beast. I'm excited. So the CyC X1 PRO comes with an option of pairing it with the ASI Back 855 or the Back 2000. So if you do with the 2000 with a 72 volt battery, you are looking up to a maximum of 5,000 watts of power on this bad boy. But I'm gonna be using the 855 today. So that will give you a maximum of 3,000 watts of power and up to 250 Newton meters of torque. So it's still gonna be a beast. This comes with the kit, so you have an option. It's a plug and play. So I'm gonna be doing the complete build today. As you know, with any mid-drive motor, you gotta take out the cranks, the pedals, the bottom bracket. On this bike, I've already done it because I had the Bafang installed on here. So I took that out. If you want the whole, if you want to see how to do that part with the cranks and bottom bracket and everything, we did a complete build video on the Bafang, so I'm going to put that on the top so you can get those steps. But then I'm going to start with installing this right now. So after removing your bottom bracket and your pedals and your cranks, the first step you want to do is clean out the thread inside. Make sure it's absolutely clean, there's no dirt in there. Otherwise, once you start putting in the torque sensor and it gets stuck in the thread over here, you don't want to deal with that. It's a headache, right? So make sure your bottom bracket is absolutely clean. And then after it's clean, the first step you would do is put your motor over here. So this motor is meant for a bottom bracket of from 68 millimeters all the way up to 83 millimeters. So this is a 73 millimeter bottom bracket. So, and the kit comes with 3 spacers, a 7 millimeter, a 3 millimeter, and a 5 millimeter. So since this is a 73, I need to take, I need 10 millimeters of spacers. So I'm gonna need a 3 and the 7. And then the bigger spacer you are putting on your non-drive side because the torque sensing thread is much larger over here. So I'm gonna be putting the bigger spacer on the non-drive side. So space it out over here. Good, make sure your wires are not squeezing over here. And then the torque sensing bracket, you are going to be on the non-drive side. The one with the wire goes on the non-drive side, and this one turns clockwise. So, and you don't want to tighten it up all the way. So just tighten it until it gets fairly snug, and then we'll tighten it later. So I have the torque sensing bracket with the wire side on my non-drive side over here. I tighten it all I can with my hand, but don't tighten it all the way. If you can see over here, there is a groove. So this bracket should be going inside the groove. It should not be resting on the motor plate over here. So it's gonna go all the way inside the groove, and that's when you'll have it tighten. The next step you'll do is same thing, the other side of the torque sensing bracket. You will be using a 3 millimeter spacer, the smaller spacer on this side. And then this side tightens counterclockwise. So I'm gonna be doing that right now. And then I shall be right back. So I went ahead and finished installing the driver's side bottom bracket adapter also. And I went ahead and also tightened both sides. So again, make sure you put it inside the groove over there, that this bracket is not resting on the motor plate. So that is done, tightened all the way, but the motor is still not secure. It's in place, but it's not secure. So the kit comes with a motor mount with a couple of long bolts, and I'll show you the process of doing that. Basically, it goes at the bottom over here, and then the screws will be over here. So this, and then it comes up with a couple of pieces of rubber, so you can put it against the motor mount so it doesn't scratch your frame of your bike. And then you can put one piece of rubber underneath the motor. And then this one came pre-assembled on the motor, but I took it off just to show you guys. There's a couple of bolts and there's a dice, and this goes over here. And again, don't worry, I'll change the camera angle so you can see better. So your dice goes over here, and this is where the long bolts will go in to secure the motor mount. And just in case, if you're wondering, let me just change the camera angle. If you're wondering what this shaving is, don't worry, it is not from this motor. I had the Bafang on this, and I used the angle grinder to grind it down so I can get a better clearance. But with the CYC, that is not an issue. So that's why CYC is a very versatile motor. It can be installed on many bikes. Some bikes that Bafangs cannot go on, this will go on. So again, it's a very versatile motor. I'm gonna change the camera angle and we're gonna secure this motor to the frame. Okay, so I got the bike turned over, better camera angle. I forgot to mention that this strap actually comes with the kit also. It's a extra safety mechanism that you can put on with the motor mount, and then your motor is going nowhere. For some kits, this is probably the only thing you might be able to use because of the frame geometry, but most of them you can use the motor mount too. CYC says this is good enough to hold the motor in place. It's pretty sturdy, but I would use both just in case. So this bike is gonna go perfectly. The mount is gonna go right here. It'll hold it in place. So. And then for this whole process, you're gonna need a 3mm hex, and then you install the dice. It's gonna go over here. So I'm just gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna tighten all the way right now. And then I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, so I have the dice and the bolt installed on both sides. Again, it comes pre-assembled on the motor, but I just took it out to show everyone. And then you just take the motor mount and use the long bolts given, and boom, just gotta tighten it up. Okay, so I have the motor mount on now. I haven't tightened it all the way. So these two pieces of rubber right here, I'm gonna put one right here underneath the motor. So when it goes flush against the frame, it's not scratching anything. And then one, I'm gonna put it underneath the mount over here so it's not scratching. So I'm gonna put those rubbers, tighten all the bolts, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I tightened all these screws right here. The motor mount is on. Don't forget to put the two rubbers over here so it's nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. I took the strap off. When I turn the bike over, I'm gonna do it properly. So now I'm gonna turn the bike over and we're gonna install the controller, the bash guard, and then the spindle. Okay, time now to mount the controller and the controller mount. So there's 4 wires coming out of the motor. 3 phase wires, red, blue, and yellow. And then there is a 6-pin Hall sensor coming out of the motor. And out of your controller, there's obviously the power with the XT90 connector. And then these are the 3 phase wires that go directly into the motor. Just match up the color. So yellow to yellow, blue to blue. And this should be red. I think they ran out of like red wire color, but again, it should be color coded. And so this part you have to be very careful. There's 2 female 6-pin plugs over here. One, which is labeled the motor, is gonna go directly into the Hall sensor for the motor. The other one is for your torque sensor. So the one coming out of the bracket over here, that's where that's gonna go. There is the wiring harness cable right here. This is where your throttle and your display is gonna go. And the last one is your brake sensor or gear sensor cutoff. So you will be putting your controller like this, and the mount is gonna go over like this over here. And make sure there's 2 places to put the screws here to the mount. So you just line those up right here. So I'm gonna connect that right now. So put the torque sensor from the bottom. So yellow to yellow, blue to blue, and should be red to red, but this one is green to red. But again, it should be color coded. It usually doesn't come like this. And the last one is your motor. So again, be careful over here. It's labeled motor. It says motor. It should be labeled motor. So, and line up the arrows. You don't want to be bending the pins. You don't want to get stuck because of that. Okay, so motor phase wire is in there. The torque sensor, I'm going to make it come from the bottom over here so it's not in the way. And then line the arrows up. Boom. So torque sensor in. Wiring harness I'm going to push through. Brake sensor I'm just going to push through. And I'm going to connect that later on. And then turn this bad boy over. Make sure the wires are not in the way. Okay, perfect. And now this is where the mount is going to go. So the screws come with it, the bolts come with it, so you're gonna bolt it through this way, and then all you need is a 8mm wrench. They hold the the nuts in here, tighten that up, and then also mount the controller to with these two screws right here. So I'm gonna do that right now, and I shall be right back. Okay, so the controller plate is on, nice and secure with the screws, nice and tight. And now it is time to put in the axle. So this is the drive side, this is where the chain ring is gonna go. So this is gonna go over here. Just push it in all the way. Might need a mallet just to kind of tap it in. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, it's in, perfect. And then now time to put the chain ring on. So this is the chain ring that comes with the kit. And there is a 219 chain that comes with the kit also. So you wanna put it on the chain ring first before you put it inside the axle. So on the outside you put it in, make sure it's flush with the teeth. Okay, that's in. And then now you're gonna put the bike chain on. It is a narrow wide pattern, so make sure you line it up properly. There we go. Put both the chains on first before putting it inside the axle. Save you a lot of time. And then again, before you put it inside the axle, put the chain in on the sprocket first. So put it on the sprocket first. It's in. Now you can put it inside the axle. Okay, let's put this on. Just line it up and it should go in. There we go. Okay, sprocket is on. There we go. Chain is, oh, sorry, it came out. Line it up properly. There we go. Make sure your chain is properly on. It's not on over here. Oopsies. Yep. On. Come on. There we go. Okay. Properly on. There we go. Yeah, it's working. There we go. Okay. After this, you will tighten it up with these bottom bracket adapters. So on this side, you want to tighten it up. Where is that tool? Use this bottom bracket tool to tighten it up. And then you can tighten it right now. So I'm going to use a wrench. And the good way of doing this is to actually have put the crank on the other side. over here. So put the crank on the other side and then hold the crank on the other side and then tighten this all the way. After tightening both sides of the bottom bracket, it's time to install the cranks now. Make sure you put the right on the right and the left on the left. It's labeled over here, so this one is R, so this is the right side. So just put it in and use the crank bolts that came with the kit to tighten it up. And you need an 8mm hex to tighten it in. I like to put the cranks in before putting in the pedals. Everybody has their preference. Use the cranks as leverage. Nice and tight. And do the same thing on the other side. Make sure you put it the opposite way. And then tighten that up. There we go, nice and tight. The next step is to put your speed sensor on. It has an M right here. This is where the magnet will cross and it detects your speed. So it has to be fairly close, but not touching it. And then you can adjust it once you have it on the chainstay. You can adjust it with this screw, depending how back and forth you want it. And there's 2 holes right here. This is where your zip ties will go and attach it to your chainstay right here. As you can notice, I'm putting it on my non-drive side. You can also put it on your drive side, but be careful. There's a lot more action over there. There's a chain. I'm more comfortable putting it on this side. You can put it at the bottom right here to make it less noticeable. I don't mind putting it over here, so I'm going to put it on the top right here. And so this wire is going to be, it's a 3-pin female wire. It's going to be going into the 3-pin male wire that comes out of the controller. So I already pushed it through when I was installing the controller. So now just a plug, boom, in. And then now time to install the magnet. You just unscrew it. And this will go on your spoke, easy peasy. And just tighten it. I'll tighten it later with a flat screwdriver. So that's in. You can adjust it based on where. It has to be fairly close but not touching. And then now I'm just going to install the speed sensor right here. And then after I'm done, yeah, you can't have these wires sticking out. So at the end, I'm going to clean up all the zip ties and sleeves and make it nice and clean. You don't want anything touching your motor. Okay, done. Pretty easy step. So this is done. So we have a few more steps. We're almost there. Just got to install the battery, install the chain guard on the other side, put the wiring through for the wiring harness for the throttle and display, and then we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to be installing a 72 volt 21 amp hour triangle pack with LG cells on this kit right here. The CyC is compatible with 36 from 36 to 72 volts. So you can put a shark pack over here, you can put a triangle pack, depending on your bike style and how much power you need. And this thing's gonna be pumping out 60 amps of continuous power. So I'm gonna get pretty close to maximum 3000 watts of power. So I wanna get the maximum out of this kit. So this triangle pack's gonna be beautiful. So, oh man, this bike's gonna look beautiful. And it just comes with Velcro. Velcro it in. Okay, time now to install the display. This will go right here in the middle, center console. And then the display comes with 3 screws, so 2 for the display and then 1 for the pin pad, which will go here on the left hand side. And that's where I'm gonna put the throttle also, so you have to take your grips off and your brakes, which I will be doing right now. The display also comes with a few grommets, so if it's your handlebars are a little thin and you need some grommets to make it tighter, you can put it over here. But I checked my handlebar and it's gonna be fine. So let's get started. Then this is the 750C. This one works with, if you are running it from 52 volts to 72 volts, it's gonna be running on a 750C. And if you're running it from 36 volts to 52, you're gonna be running it on a 500C. So let's put this on. Let's take the grips and the brake lever out first. So I already attached the wiring harness coming out of the controller. And they come in the front right here. So this is the 3-pin. The orange one is for the throttle and the green one is for the display. Okay, brake and grip off. Just put this right here and then I'll tighten it with the screw. Oh man, it's gonna look beautiful. I should probably, yeah, throttle goes in second, so put this in first. Nice. Move it all the way in, and then once you know how far your grips go and your brake levers, you can move it back in. Right here. Plug in the green wire with the display coming out of your wiring harness. And again, I'm gonna do all the cabling at the end. That is probably the most important step on the thing. You don't want anything to be touching your bike. So green to green, arrow to arrow, boom. Let's put the throttle on. Okay, so now I'm just gonna tighten all the screws. So screw over here, there's a screw at the bottom of the throttle right here, screw over here on the pin pad, and a couple of screws at the bottom of the display. So I'll tighten those screws and I'll show you how my cockpit of my bike looks. Okay, so I got the display on there, nice and tight, it's perfectly sitting in the middle. I put my throttle and my keypad on the same side. Some people prefer it on opposite sides, but I couldn't put it over here because my shifter is in the way. But it actually worked out pretty well. So it's right here. The throttle is not, the keypad is not in the way. It says throttle and then boom. So it's gonna be in one motion. So it actually worked out pretty well. Let's see, maybe I might get a twist throttle in the future, but for now this works out really well. Okay, so last step, we just gotta put the chain tensioner and the chain guard on there and we are ready to go. Alrighty, last step. So we have the chain tensioner right here and then we have the chain guard, which goes in like here. The chain tensioner goes through this screw and there's a spacer right here that holds it in place and a couple of screws. So let me put that part and we are done. So the chain tensioner is right here. So the way to do it, it's gonna go in like this at the bottom screw, right, at bottom hole right there. And it's gonna hold the chain up like that so there's no more slack over there. So to put it through the chain guard, what you would do is take out the screw, there's a few spacers in there, so be careful. So hold it in place, take your chain guard, put the screw through, and then put all this through, and then you can just slide it in, and then you can tighten it a little bit. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and then this actually came pre-assembled. This mechanism came pre-assembled when we got the kit, but I took it off just to show you guys, you know, just in case if you need to take it out, so it makes it easier. These spacers go right here, so the chain guard doesn't hit the chain. Spacers are right here. This goes on top right there. Alright guys, done with this build right here. Super clean, zip tied all the wires. It's looking super fly. Got the 7221 amp hour battery on here, and then the CyC X1 PRO Generation 2. Now my favorite part of the build. Let's take it out for a ride. Alright guys, we are here, out now. Let me show you what this beast can do. So we're running almost at 3,000 watts right now. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it, it has 5 levels. So it's on the 5th level right now. I have it on the lowest gear. And I'm gonna show you a torque test. I'm gonna turn off my mic now, and then Much can take over the commentary.
So unfortunately we don't have a lot of hills here, so see the acceleration, I can't even keep up with them. This thing flies. I don't even know if the camera can zoom that far out. But yeah, he's gone. And I think he's gonna do a top speed test on the way back. Seems like he's gunning it. No, he stopped. Okay, now he's gunning it. He's gunning it. Not sure how fast he's going, but he's flying. He's gone. All right. I'm not sure how fast that was. Maybe 50 miles per hour. Maybe slightly more. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Let's ask him when he gets back. All right, so the one's the 3,000 watt CyC motor, and the other one's a stock Bafang motor. And just wanted to show you guys what the difference looks like. Oh my God. That's the CyC, and the Bafang's coming along. So yeah, there's a big power difference and performance difference, but there is a need for every kind of motor out there, anything from 250 watts to 5,000 watts. So, but this, we're just trying to show you the difference between them. Yeah, that wasn't even close.
All right guys, hope you guys enjoyed the build video. So that was your CyC motor, the 3,000 watt. We can upgrade this to a 5,000 watt, that's coming soon. We're gonna be carrying these CyC motors in stock soon, so let us know if you guys are interested. That's that for today. Give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you guys later.